Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to TMP Finance, where we make long and short-term investing simple. And the NASDAQ has played exactly to a T how I expected it to. And let's take a look at this over here. Back when I saw on May 14th over here, Wednesday, when I saw that the market was slowing down here, I told you that this is a pattern that I recognized very, very often. And this is one of my favorite patterns to trade, even though I wouldn't consider myself a pattern trader. And this is something comparable to that, something that we could have seen at the top of the market over here back in February of 2025 here. And this pattern here is very, very simple. It's just a loss of money in the market and it's slowing down and buying pressure, buying momentum over here. And of course, if you have less money in the market, stocks are going to go down, and boom, that's exactly what happened. Now this pattern is super, super clean, and that's why I have this arc here. And from this arc here, I can see that we're losing momentum and that we're starting to move back down, because the NASDAQ over here, and as explained before, in a matter of 5 days from here to here, the NASDAQ was able to move up 9%. Now 9% is, I mean, it can be looked as the average annual rate for its return. So 9% in 1 week, that's very, very fast, especially once we're coming out of this already pretty rampant bull trend. And it only makes sense that we come back and retouch support, because we were very overextended here. So I told all the members of my Discord, and you would have received the alert here, to short NASDAQ, and we shorted right about here at 21,447. And from here, you would have received the alert today to take your position out, and you would have made a nice 3.2% before our 9 times leverage. So we ended up making something like 30% here in our trade, which is just absolutely fantastic. And that's another trade in the bank that we have bagged. So if you're looking for trade alerts and you're looking to capitalize off every move of the NASDAQ and not just settle for that 13% a year, come take a look at the link in the description, wap.com/tmpfinance. You'll get all the trades I take for the NASDAQ and for stocks surrounding the NASDAQ, and you'll also get free trading sessions and be able to ask me any question that you have. But let's continue with our analysis here. And from here, where can I expect the NASDAQ to go? Well, this is a very, very strong support, and we can see that the NASDAQ here has stuck to this very, very aggressive uptrend over here. Now, do I think that this uptrend here is going to stick? This is going up very, very fast. And if you take a look at other trend lines similar, where we had very aggressive bull trends over here, like this one that supported us ever since we left the 2022 bear trend, you can see that this angle here compared to this angle here is extremely well, not as extreme, right? And it's a little bit more, tapered, a little bit more flat. But this is a very, very aggressive trend here. So eventually I could see a break of this support line, where we just follow back to the same previous support line that's been holding us up ever since the exit of the 2022 bear trend, and that we can continue from there. But this support here, it does seem that we've had some sort of rejection here. I'm not confident on how strong that support can be, but for now I will take it, and you can make a trade off of this support over here, which is pretty close to the rising support line. The support over here at 20,760 is a very strong support line, as it's held the market up in this kind of consolidation for the past few months, and we've also had an all-time high off of this level as well. So I think it will take a little bit for us to break through it, if we do break through it. So this is what I'm going to be saying here. If you are looking for a way to short the NASDAQ, I'll be waiting for a break of this support line and a break of this support line, and then from there you can be looking for the lower figures all the way down at 20,000, a great psychological number, or even lower, near towards the 18,000 level eventually. Now, if we do see weakness in the market here, that's what you can look towards for the target. Now, personally, I don't believe that we're going to have a bear trend from here, just because I think it's going to be very improbable after we've had a series of higher highs and higher lows. We are way past the point for us to call this a head and shoulders pattern. We have passed that, and we've made considerable higher highs compared to previous highs in the market, showing that we have a lot of momentum here, showing that we have a lot of buy momentum, and buyers are ready to see, and investors are ready to see all-time highs in the market very, very soon. And again, we're not very far away from all-time highs. Currently, from all-time highs, we are about 6.4% away, and from the recent swing high that we had, we are only about 3.6% away. So that's pretty close here. Now, what I can say is, and I do believe that the NASDAQ, from my analysis here, I do believe that we will fill some gaps around the south side over here, about 20,300. But if you do want to go for a long trade here, what you can do is wait for a break of this support line over here at 21,240. I felt that this is also a very good support line that we've had rejections from in the past, and from there you can seek all-time highs there. Or you can play the bounce off of this support over here, and you can be looking for the upside there to all-time highs again. But I think we will be seeing all-time highs in the NASDAQ within 2025. I don't think it'll be as aggressive of a year as 2024 was when it comes to the yearly return, but I think we will get a very, very good return nevertheless. So that is what I'm looking out for when it comes to NASDAQ. Now, this is some big news here. Apple, not looking too good. Now, I did say yesterday in my video that you were looking to buy Apple today. I posted this after the market close, and I still am I still believe in that point very, very highly. And Apple is a little bit lower than it was yesterday when I posted that video. But you know what? Even though we didn't get that bounce as I expected, it's even better that you buy at a lower price. You know, it's even more on sale now than it was before. And from here, you have a lot of upside potential here. Now, the reason for the drop for Apple was because that Trump said that he would be placing a tariff on Apple if they didn't manufacture their products in the US and they wanted to continue in China. Why would he do that? I think that's the stupidest thing, because I don't know why that wouldn't be told to other technology stocks in the US that are based in, Silicon Valley, or why it wouldn't be for other tech stocks like, Microsoft or AMD or whatever that may be, because those are definitely not made in the US. So I don't know why Apple was subjected to that, when Trump knows very, very well that that is a market mover when it comes to the NASDAQ. And Trump was very bullish in the fact when he got elected that that 2025 would be a very, very bullish year for investors and for the stock market. So I'm not sure why he would have mentioned that, but personally, I don't believe that that news dictates the direction of the market. Maybe things like interest rates will have a direction, but I think the market is very either emotionally based or it's a combination of mathematical figures and mathematical equations. So in my belief here, and if you take a look at market structure and you take a look at even trading patterns, you will learn that that is basically all just mathematical calculations over there, and it's all based on math, even though we can simplify it to just a line. But I think my personal belief is that the reason for this drawdown in the NASDAQ here, and we can see that from decline of Apple, which is one of the leading stocks in the NASDAQ, is really just an excuse for us to average down and come back to our support here. Do I think that this is going to have bearish implications in Apple in the future, let's say in the medium to long-term future? Absolutely not. Short-term, possibly, but you know what, Apple, if we still move up from here, we are still at a higher high. There's nothing saying that we are in a bear trend for Apple. Yeah, Apple is kind of stagnating. It's not moving as fast as, our NVIDIA positions or our Meta positions. But I still think there is a lot of potential for Apple to continue moving higher. And I definitely think that a tech giant like Apple is not going to be dying off anytime soon. So if you are an investor and you have either, a very high average or you haven't been into Apple yet, I'd say go take a look at buying some Apple tomorrow. Or Monday when the market opens. But again, I think that the news is just kind of a reason for technical analysis to kind of, be formed, let's say. I don't think this can have very serious implications towards the market or towards Apple. And again, we are still in this bear trend here, this bull trend here. So you can look for those higher price targets in Apple. Right now, I am looking for a trade like this where you place your trade today. You can have a stop loss at the swing low, and then you can have your take profit at around 226 here. I think that this is a very good take profit, and this is a very, very healthy and very non-ambitious target. And this is still a great risk to reward ratio at 3.02. Now, for the other stocks here, as I talked in previous videos, and I'll just summarize for those who are tuning in today, we have a lot of gaps in the chart when it comes to Meta and NVIDIA. You can see NVIDIA has some relatively large gaps over here from the 122 and also at 118. And I believe that those gaps will get filled in the near future just because we are so overextended in those stocks, especially in Microsoft. Microsoft has a monstrous gap, and it's still been very, very strong while the NASDAQ is consolidating here and it's still moving up in a way. And I think that we will get a gap filled because look at how far we are extended from support over here. So I think for stocks like this, I think it's great for you to sell while we're relatively nearby all-time high prices. Wait for it to pull back. And you don't have to short the market if you don't want to, but wait for the stocks to pull back, fill the gap, or come near the gap, and that's when you're buying out, averaging down, or buying at a very, very good price there. And from there, you can capitalize on another bullish move to the upside there. But that is my analysis for this week. Let's take a look at how we performed for this past week here. We can take a look at our weekly chart over here. And it is a bit of a bearish week, but it's nothing to be concerned about when you look at the bigger picture over here. Again, this is not a very threatening candle for the NASDAQ. You don't have a stall out pattern. It's just very small, and it's not an engulfing pattern as well for the candle. So I think that in the next week after, we will see a little bit more of a pullback, and then we'll start to move higher into our prices there. So pay attention to the breaks of resistance, the breaks of support, and have a trade plan ready. And don't be anticipating the market too advanced. Just wait for confirmation and stay unbiased, and that's when you're going to really succeed as a trader. But that is a wrap for today's video. Again, if you are looking for more support when it comes to trading and you're looking to make crazy returns, currently in the TMP Finance Discord community, we're up 155% year to date, which is just absolutely insane after we closed a trade of 30% today. And we are only going to be beating the market further from here. So if you are looking to see gains like that and returns like that, come take a look at the link in the description. But anyways, that'll be a wrap for today's video. Thank you very, very much for tuning in, and we will catch you after the weekend. So peace out, y'all. Stay safe and enjoy. Later, y'all.